world is not required. God is beyond, even when the world goes into a stage of unmanifestation, when everything is dissolved, that God, that supreme reality remains. Even when everything comes to us, to what you call annihilated, that supreme reality remains untouched, unaffected. Like the rope and the snake, again that example, I won't leave that example. So the rope appears like the snake. The entire, again this fourth statement, the entire rope, the entire snake is pervaded by rope in its unmanifest form. The snake depends on the rope, but the existence of the rope doesn't depend on the snake. Even when the snake is not there, the rope exists. In fact, in the rope, there is no snake. That is the fourth level of understanding, that in that supreme reality, there is no world as separate. That supreme reality alone is. Again, we take the example of the ocean. Now, you see millions and millions of waves in the ocean. You see? When we look at the ocean, we see a lot of waves. Now, just imagine. This requires a little bit of imagination. Just imagine that you are a wave. So when you look around, you see lots of waves around you. Now second, little subtler imagination. Are you ready? Now imagine that you are water. Imagine that you are water and you look around, you will not see a single wave. You will only see water. Because I will see water. As water, you will not see a wave. It's very interesting. If I look at the whole ocean as water, when what others say, oh, wave is rising, I look at it as water only. I am water only. When there is falling water, everything is water. This water alone is. As water, you will not experience the presence of wave. Similarly, when we do not know our real nature, we experience the differences in this world. But when we come to comprehend our real nature, when we reach the stage of enlightenment, we will experience that I alone am, that supreme reality alone is. Other than that, nothing is there. There is no such thing called world separate from me. There is no such thing called other being separate from me. I alone am. You're understanding what I'm saying? This is the stage of enlightenment when a person realizes that I am that pure existence, and as pure existence, I alone am. There is nothing other than me. Only when there is non-apprehension or when non-enlightenment, in that stage we see differences. But once a person gains that state of enlightenment, all differences disappear. So in this final statement, Bhagavan is talking about that final state of enlightenment, wherein he says, Nacha matsthani bhutani, in me there are no beings. I alone am. There are no other beings. So, nachamasthani bhutani, pashyame yogameshwaram. This is Bhagavan's great yoga. That bhuta bhrit nacha bhutastaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. He says that though I am nourishing the entire world, though I am taking care of all the beings, I am nourishing all of them. Nourishing means they exist because of me. They are nourished, their very presence is because of me. And I also project this whole world, but really speaking, it doesn't exist in me and I don't depend on it. This is the great teaching. This is called Vedanta, the great teaching. And this is not a philosophy. See, the word philosophy we use in our Sanskrit literature, the word philosophy is not used. The word is used is darshana. Darshana means vision. This is a vision. Philosophy is, I think, the meaning is love of knowledge or something. But the scriptures, when we talk about Vedanta, when we talk about Upanishad, they give us vision, how to look at your own self, how to look at this world, how to look at God. So when we contemplate on it, meditate on it, and slowly and steadily when we drop all that misunderstanding, all that which we have accepted as false, when we drop it, we attain that state of enlightenment, wherein we come to realize that I alone am there. There is nothing. Matta parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. Like in 7th chapter, Bhagavan has revealed his nature. He says that there is nothing other than me, greater than me, inferior to me. Nothing is there. I alone am. This may sound very difficult or may sound totally unbelievable. Therefore, Bhagavan had said that you should have faith and should not try to find fault in it. Accept it first as a true statement and contemplate on it. Follow this path of contemplation. Slowly, all that is false will get dropped and the real will shine forth. It is like a sculptor, yes, who in a block of stone, he sees a beautiful image, let us say of Krishna. He brings a block of stone, maybe a marble or some other stone, and it's there. And you also go and look at that stone, and this great artist also looks at it. And he tells you, he has a great smile on his face. He says, see, beautiful Krishna is looking at me smiling. I think in my mind, this fellow, I thought he was crazy, but now it is confirmed. But he can see Krishna. Why? Because he is seeing without all the extra luggage on Krishna. He has removed all non-Krishna from the stone and he is seeing Krishna. But I have not removed the non-Krishna. So when he works on that stone, he removes all that is not Krishna. He doesn't create Krishna. He removes every bit of the stone which is not Krishna. The more he removes, the more the Krishna appears. Even the finest little thin layer of non-Krishna is there. That also he removes. And Krishna starts shining. And the smile comes on his face. And you can see the Kadamba Vriksha behind him. You can see the cows or calf. A beautiful smile on his face, playing the murli. The entire image comes out. Where was it? It was hidden. So what did the sculptor do? He just removed what was not Krishna. He did not create Krishna. Similarly, what does Vedanta do? It removes all your misunderstanding, all your wrong notions about yourself, about the world. It doesn't create God. God is there. It just removes our wrong notion about ourselves and the world, and God reveals Himself. It's like the clouds which have come in between the sun. When the cloud moves, the sun shines forth by itself. For the sun to shine, it doesn't require any other light. Similarly, through the study of the scriptures, by following the path shown by Bhagavan Sri Krishna, all the misunderstanding, all false notions start dropping one by one. And when the last final thing is dropped, one comes to comprehend oneself as that Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham. Nacha Shrotra Jivhe Nacha Ghrana Netre. Nacha Vyoma Bhumir Na Tejo Na Vayuhu. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Nacha, when we negate all that I am not, what remains is that Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So here in these two verses, they are very important verses, but requires a lot of contemplation. Bhagavan reveals his real nature and his relationship with the world and relationship with all individuals. So he exists. Suppose I look at myself, he exists, he pervades me. I consider myself as this body and all, so he pervades. God pervades me. That is the first understanding. Second is that I depend on God. Not that God is there in me, but I am in God. Many people say, मेरे अंदर भगवान है. मैं बड़ा हूँ, भगवान अंदर बैठे हुए हैं. So we always consider Bhagavan as little bit somewhere in the heart or somewhere in the chakras or something. He is not chakram to sit in the chakras. But we feel, yeah, भगवान वहाँ बैठे हुए हैं. मैं खाप पे बड़ा होता हूँ, भगवान को ज़्यादा फिर जगह मिलती घूमने के लिए. So we should understand I exist in God. Then God is independent of my existence. I means this ego. Even when the ego gets dissolved, God's existence remains. And in God, there is no I, there is no ego, there is no body, there is no mind. God alone is. So bhuta bhrinna cha bhutastaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. In order to make us understand what Bhagavan has said in these two verses, Bhagavan gives a beautiful example in the 6th verse. Yatha kashasthito nityam vayus sarvatra gomahan तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय यथा काशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि Masthanityapadharaya. Bhagavan says, you understand this with the example of this Akash. Yatha Akasha stito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan. Just as in Akash, in space, exists Vayu, the air. The nityam, always. The air exists in this space. In the same way, just as air exists in space, in the same way all beings exist in me. See, when we look around, this whole space in which we are, our body is there, is also pervaded by the air. We may not be able to, maybe to make this example more clear, we can take the example of clouds. At least clouds you can see, air you can't see. But we can experience and we breathe and we feel it. So just take that example of clouds. Clouds existing in space. Just as clouds exist in space, the entire creation with all beings exist in God. God is like space, and the entire creation is like clouds. You and me are like droplets in that clouds. Sometimes you see the whole sky very clear, but sky is still there. Sky is clear. Then suddenly the clouds appear in the sky. It exists for some time. It moves here and there. It takes different form and different shape. Many times we can see the different images in those clouds. Little children, they can see a big drama in the cloud. They say, oh, this elephant is running and that he is chasing the deer, and this what you call tiger is there and he's jumping and all. And you look, you don't see anything. You say, oh, to kuch samajh mein nahi aata hai. You see, it's very clear. So the clouds appear in space, exist in space, and again disappear in space. This is a beautiful example. So Bhagwan, whatever he said in the previous two verses, we can understand with the help of this example. So when we look at the clouds, really speaking, the space pervades that cloud. Space, you know what is the nature of space? Can you see space? We can't see space. Can you touch space? We can't touch space. We can't smell space. We can't hear space. And in space, when there is sound, we can hear. We can't hear. Its space is very subtle. But God is subtler than space. Here is just giving that example of space. So space pervades the clouds in its unmanifest form. We don't see the space, but it is there in and through the clouds. The clouds exist in space, but the space do not exist in cloud. The space doesn't depend on the clouds. And in pure space, there are no clouds. So this is a beautiful example for it can help us in our meditation. So just you have to imagine that supreme reality as space, and all of us and the entire creation is just appearing in it like the clouds. It is sustained by the space and again dissolves into space. All the variety is just in the cloud, not in space. Good and bad, ugly, and all, we talk about the clouds. Speed, or it is slow, we talk about clouds. But in space, there is no speed, there is no shape, there is no sound, there is no color, it is beyond all. So one has to understand God as space. There is one beautiful temple, I think, in south, where God is worshipped as space. Chidambaram. God is worshipped as space. That is the subtlest expression of God, as space. Space is just a symbol or the image of God. God is subtler than space also. But it is the closest. So when we talk about God, we say that He is Chidrup, consciousness, but we also call Him Chidakasharup. He is like conscious space. This space which we experience is jada, is inert. But God is conscious space. This whole topic might appear very heavy. Slowly it will become little lighter as we go ahead. So don't give up. Oh, thank you. I was thinking of giving it up. So you continue. Because here this topic is taken up because Bhagwan will tell us about bhakti, about love and love for God. And we will understand if we know what is the meaning of God. Otherwise, in the name of loving God, we must be loving someone else only. In fact, it happens like that. Oh, I love God so much. Where is your God? I will show you in my pocket. He is there. Yeah, God is there. I love Him very much. Then somebody steals that pocket or that purse and all. मेरे भगवान को किसी ने चोरी करके ले गए. Bhagwan has gone. So our love for God might be a love for an imaginary God. Imaginary God. It's like someone saying that someone says, "Oh, I love your son." But have you seen him? No. Have you seen his photograph? No. But I love. So he must be loving some imaginary. But if he says he loves, then he should know who he is, where he is, how he is. Then only you can say he loves. So therefore, this topic is very important, that before we discuss about bhakti, we should know which God we should worship, which God we are praying to, which God we are surrendering to, which God is my own nature, which God I am one with. So, yathakasha stito nityam vayus sarvatra go mahan, like the vayu pervading the akash, Bhagavan says, sarvani bhutani matsthani iti upadharaya. You understand all these beings are existing in me. Now further Bhagavan says, sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpadav vishrujamyaham sarva bhutani kaunteya. Bhagavan says, all these beings exist in me. I am like space, and all these beings exist in me like air, or like as clouds. But sometimes these clouds exist and then just dissolves into space. So even when the cloud dissolves into space, it is potentially there, but it is dissolved. Potentially it is there. The moisture is there, but it is almost dissolved. Then when the climate and all changes, suddenly it again appears. It's nowadays also you find one day it's very sunny, and some other day it is quite funny. All the clouds start coming from somewhere and the sun doesn't appear. So where do they go? They are there. Clouds are there in space. So here Bhagavan is telling us that all these beings, they are born through my prakriti, my nature, which was revealed in the 7th chapter. They exist in my nature and again merge back into my nature. Sarva bhutani kaunteya, he kaunteya, sarva bhutani, all the beings, right from Brahmaji to a tiny little ant, all beings, prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshay, at the end of kalpa. Here kalpa is not one day of Brahmaji. We had seen in the 8th chapter, one day of Brahmaji is also called kalpa, and we have seen the period of one day of Brahmaji. You remember? Anybody remembers? One day of Brahmaji is equivalent to how many Chatur Yugas? 1000 plus 1000. 2000 Chatur Yugas are one complete day of Brahmaji, day and night. Ahoratra it is called. 2000 Chatur Yugas. Chatur Yugas means all 4 yugas put together. They are 43 lakhs. 20,000 years, human years, is one Chatur Yuga. That multiplied by 2000 is one day and night of Brahmaji. You calculate. Last time I had done, and even now I have little headache because of that. So now you calculate. But this, there it was said that after after the day of Brahmaji is over, the entire creation goes into unmanifest. Means Brahmaji goes to sleep. And then again it is projected by Brahmaji. Then again he goes to sleep. Then again it is projected. What in science we call it as a pulsating universe. The entire universe goes into an unmanifest state and again it is projected. Science considers that everything goes into some sort of point, singularity, and again it's with a big bang, again it's projected. It's a pulsating sort of universe. But this pulsating universe also comes to an end. It is said that Brahmaji also has got his own time scale, his lifespan. Brahmaji's lifespan is 100 years of Brahmaji. 1 day of Brahmaji is calculated. 2000 is Chaturyugas. 360 days of Brahmaji is equal to 1 year of Brahmaji. 360 days. That multiplied by 100 years, 100, I think so, yeah, is one lifespan of Brahmaji. Just imagine, one cannot imagine that figure. But that is considered as one lifespan of Brahmaji. When one lifespan of Brahmaji is over, the entire creation goes into total unmanifestation. Even Brahmaji is dissolved into that supreme Prakriti. Brahmaji also gets dissolved. And when the new creation happens, a new Brahmaji, a new being or a new Brahmaji is appointed. So here when Bhagavan is talking about this kalpa, he is talking about the end of Brahmaji's span also, lifespan. So when entire cosmos and all the beings and all the devatas, everyone gets dissolved into Bhagavan's Prakriti, in that Prakriti of that supreme reality. This is very difficult to comprehend this concept, but it's the fact. So Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam. All of them, they merge into me. When? Kalpakshaye, at the end of Brahmaji's lifespan. And Punastani Kalpado, and then again, when the new creation happens, I only project the entire thing. Everything is projected by my Prakriti. So Sarva Bhutani Kaunte. Again, to give the example of these clouds and space, you see a clear sky. Then in that clear sky, suddenly appears a cloud. It exists for some time. And then again it merges. And when it merges, the shape, the size, everything merges into that space. But then after some time, again it appears. Similarly, the scriptures talk about this entire creation with all the lokas, many, many worlds which are there. All of them go into a state of unmanifestation. Is it that 2012 and all? No. That is just a gimmick. This is something which is at the end of Brahmaji's lifespan. We don't have to worry about it. But this is meant to make us comprehend and understand the vastness of this creation, the vastness of time, eternity of time which is mentioned. And all of them are just a drop in that great supreme reality, which is your nature. The scripture is trying to tell you that you are so vast and so unthinkable and beyond all comprehension. That is your real nature. Even the world which we are so much attached and all is totally insignificant. It is not lasting. Entire cosmos, even the great devatas, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and all those devatas, Indra, Varun, Kuber and so many forces of nature, all of them get dissolved. Nothing exists. There's no time, no power, no energy, nothing is there. Zero. As in science, they say singularity. All the laws of physics get dissolved there. There is no gravity, there is no other law, nothing is there. Everything gets dissolved. And when new creation start, maybe a new law may also come up. Maybe something different from laws of gravity. Maybe different from laws of electricity and light and all. A new sort of creation might come. Because it's just appearance. How it will appear, we don't know. Like when I dream one particular dream, it appears very logical and very nice. But it might be very fantastic, like I might be flying in my dream. But there I might not find it very strange. Then I again wake up, go to sleep, and entirely new dream happens. Same dream may not come. Mullah Nasruddin, he dreamt and he was offered a rasagulla, but he said, no, today my upvas is there. And he woke up and he said, अरे बाप रे, आज तो मंडे है, आज तो खा सकते हैं. मेरा तो जुम्मे के दिन होता है. Again he went to sleep, but that same dream did not come. Same dream, he was very frustrated. Anyway, need not go into details about Mullah Nasruddin. But this world which we experience, at present we are experiencing it has got its own laws, its own rules. But when it dissolves and new world comes, it might have totally different laws and different rules, different science, different physics. Maybe 2 + 2 might not be 4 in that world. So you don't worry if you don't understand mathematics. Or you understand it wrongly, it might be right in the other world. So sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshe punastani kalpado vishrujamyaham. So this prakriti, what Bhagavan is talking about, is what he had said in the 7th chapter, this Ashtadha prakriti. Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, and Mano, Buddhi and Ahankar, and also that Para prakriti. Everything actually merges into this prakriti. All this variety of beings and variety of forms. And after a certain other period, again it is projected. Everything is projected. More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Now you please remain seated. Close your eyes and just meditate on what you have heard today. We'll chant Om and then meditate on whatever you have heard, you remember. Just take a one thought that the entire creation, entire world is pervaded by God. My body, mind, intellect, the world around me, all beings around me, in all of them there is presence of God. मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ